Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Shira. I'm a fifth year medical student studying in Lagos, Nigeria. This video is basically on my diploma experience and how I successfully passed through diploma in Unilag, get 16 points, the highest possible points, which got me into College of Medicine. If you're new here, please don't forget to click the subscribe button. You can give the video a very big thumbs up if you find it helpful, and share to your friends. To gain admission into university in Nigeria, there are different routes to enter. Two routes that I use in Unilag are UTME and the direct entry route. Some schools do programs like remedials, some schools do pre-degree programs. There are other routes to enter university apart from the normal JAMB or UTME routes. Through the direct entry routes, there are two different categories of people. The people that do diploma and the people that maybe after studying a degree, they come back. Like if you study a degree like physiology now, you may decide to come back and do maybe another degree. And then instead of going through JAM again, you can just use the direct entry. You start from 200 level. So the diploma year in Unilag is a year that is very similar to your A levels. It's where you're taught a couple of things, what you would learn in year one as a fresher. And then you're supposed to write an exam called the Jupeb exam. The diploma is just one of the routes to get into university, and it's a route that is very well used in Unilag. Even like one of the top schools that use diploma to give students admission in Nigeria, it is like second JAM. So it's called a direct entry route because once you have written your Jupeb exam, you can go straight into 200 level. You don't have to go through first stage, just go straight into your second year. I got admission to study medicine in two different federal universities in Nigeria, and I have a video where I tell that whole story. The link will be somewhere up here. So this video is just going to talk about one of those routes, which is diploma, how I was able to successfully get into Unilag, because getting admission to diploma is not easy at all. So I'll start from the very beginning to the very end. For you to get into diploma, you need to buy the form and register for the exam. I did mine 6 years ago, so I may not have up-to-date information on the forms and all of that, but you can just find that out in Unilag. You need to get the form and you need to register for the exam. So it's an entrance exam, and that's where I'm going to start this from. I jotted down a list of points so that I don't derail from what I'm supposed to say, because that diploma was a very big, was 1 year of my life I can never really forget. So there are a lot of things to say, so I jotted down the key things so that I don't derail. So in case you see me looking down, for the entrance exam, a lot of people did tutorials for it, but me, I didn't do any tutorial for it because I'd already been reading for JAM, for UTME. So I just got the past questions and I went through them and I passed. But people did tutorials for them and also passed. So it just depends on you. You need to just know yourself. You get the past questions and you see that, oh, these questions are harder than they seem, or I may not be able to scale through, then you can get tutorials. The main thing is just study well and prepare for the exam like you prepare for any normal exam. My own exam wasn't really that hard to me, to be honest. It was okay, but it just depends on what you know, what you've read, how you prepare for other exams. So you can't really trust another person's judgment. Just prepare for the exam as you would any other serious exam, and you probably pass. So then you have done the exam. When you get picked, you'll be tempted to feel like you're one superstar, because when you go to diploma exam, when I went there that time, people were plenty. You see thousands of people that apply for the exam, and it's not everybody that Unilag is going to give, especially for a course like medicine that is very competitive. So you can see like maybe 2,000 people register for medicine or something, and then they'll pick maybe 500. In my set, they picked only 200. So you will feel like a superstar that you have passed the entrance exam, you have been able to sieve people out. You feel like, oh yeah, you are good. You are not good. The entrance exam is just the entrance exam, and just leave it like that. I'm sorry I sound like this, but don't let it get into your head, because to be honest, the journey has only just begun. Diploma is survival of the fittest, and that's something you need to remember from the very first day you step your foot into start diploma. So it's what kept me going through diploma. I just literally tell myself, diploma is survival of the fittest. It's something that you must never forget, because things will get tough. You must keep telling yourself that. Out of 200 people that were accepted for medicine, only 30 people were given admission to study medicine. That's how it is. So 170 something of your friends will get out. So it is like a competition. You must take it very seriously. You must take it it's survival of the fittest. Keep telling yourself, only fit people will make it successfully in the end. Now, there are some key tips I want to drop so that you know. Key tip, about 9 tips that I need to drop that help start early. And it's not a joke. I cannot overstress how important this is. It helps me a whole lot. From the very first day of diploma, I started reading. Even when there was nothing to read, there was just literally scheme of work and just 1 or 2 things, I started reading. And that's very important because the first few months of diploma is where you have your highest ginger. That time, if you used to sit in front, you sit in front, you read very well, you take things seriously, you go for tutorials. At that time, you're very, very encouraged. So what's the middle? You start getting either lazy, you lose your motivation, or you start getting distracted. When you enter university for the first time, you will get distracted to an extent. So it helps because when the workload becomes too much and it gets overwhelming and there's a lot to do, you find out that those things you read extremely well during the first couple of months, you just revise them for a few minutes and then move on to what you really need to do. This thing really, really helped me. And that's why I feel like you should start very early. If your foundation is strong, even if the rest of the building is shaky, that strong foundation will at least help you so that you don't have everything is not too difficult. The materials, when you get that diploma, you are a very new fish. You just came around, you don't know anybody, you don't know anything. And so all manner of people from all places in this Lagos will bring all kinds of materials to you. They will tell you this past question is for this past question is for that. I don't know if that's what, but during my time, they used to do it very well. So, and then people that time have a lot of ginger, a lot of people want to pass, people want to study medicine, everybody's very hyped about it. And so they will start buying. They will start buying past questions that they will never use and they will never need, useless materials. So it's not immediately you get into diploma that you start buying materials. You need to wait. You need to find someone that's maybe done it before, a senior. You can ask, okay, oh, this material is irrelevant. If not, you just keep buying every single material that they bring, and they will lie to you and tell you that, oh, they use this. But there was this girl that was lying that she was a pharmacy. It was a lie. She said that she was a college of medicine pharmacy, that she used this material. It was a lie. She was studying chemical engineering in Unilag, but she lied just to sell her past questions. So people will lie and sell. So I had a senior then that told me, okay, this was what she used, and that was how she was able to get 15 points. And that was what I used to, and I even got 16 points. Follow no road, basically. Don't just go and just buy anything because you just waste your money. Attending classes, everybody struggles to attend classes for as long as they can when diploma starts. But after some time, you say classes are too hot, classes are too full, they can't really hear properly, all manner of excuses, and then they just attend tutorials. I'm just going to say this, I will not advise that. I will not advise that you leave your classes and be attending only tutorials. And I'm saying this from my experience. Everybody has their own experience through diploma. From my own journey, I learned that combining both classes and tutorials worked for me perfectly. Because in things like chemistry, the woman will have her own method of doing it. And the lecturer's method and my tutorial teacher's methods were two different things. They all arrived at the same answer, but their methods were different. And my lecturer's method was a particular method she used to use. And because it's her that is marking it, I would just rather follow her own method. Tutorials helped me, and I'm going to come to tutorials. But you see classes, try and go for your classes for as long as you can. It's hard, it gets really hard. There are so many people doing diploma. Sometimes actually there's no lights, you can't hear. But just try and attend as many classes as you can. That's what I did, and it worked for me. Combination of both work. It may not be light, it may be hard, you cannot hear. But remember what I told you before I started this video. Diploma is survival of the fittest. It's not about who is most comfortable. It's survival of who is fittest. And it's not that you be attending classes and you're not gaining anything. You have to know that you must be gaining something in that class you're going to. Not that you attend classes and waste time that you're meant to use to read or something and you're not gaining anything. When I say attend classes, I mean attend classes and try to pay attention, try to get something from it. Those days we used to take notes. I used to take a lot of notes in my chemistry class to keep me focused, so that at least I can understand what the woman is saying, and it actually helped me. I know a couple of students personally that used to only go for tutorials and not attend classes, and it didn't help them eventually. I know people that did that. So where to sit? Me, I sat in front. Towards the end of diploma, I sit middle front, not middle back, like middle front, not front, because it's not necessary, but middle front. So I sat towards that side, but because I needed to hear. I'm not going to say every single class I attended, I benefited from. So classes I actually wasn't hearing anything. I was tired in some of those classes. I missed one or two, a few, because I did overnight. That's why I missed those ones. But most of my classes, I tried to be there. Next up is tutorials. I attended tutorials in diploma. Some people do not attend tutorials. I had a friend that did not attend tutorial throughout diploma, and he got 16 points. He just attended classes, read his notes, and he passed. But me, I attended tutorials. Tutorials really, really helped me. They gave me the understanding I needed. Especially physics. I didn't really understand physics, but tutorials really, really, really helped you understand physics. The guy broke it down for me. He broke physics down for me, and that made me get an A, because physics, I didn't like physics from secondary school. But it was when I was in diploma that I understood physics. And that thing that tutorials help you organize your reading. Today, they taught me this in class. Tutorials don't do it today for better understanding. Some things you have missed in class, you tried to listen in class, you could not make some classes, you couldn't hear. Tutorials will just help as a substitute to back it up. So personally, I would advise you do both class and tutorials together so that you can have an all-rounded knowledge and understanding of what you're doing. Science students, take your labs very seriously. Some people used to go for a lab and I think it affected them, to be honest. You know, you cannot really tell what affected somebody in their exam. But you need to take your labs seriously. I used to go for labs. Labs were during the weekend, so it was so tiring to stand up on Saturday morning after doing laundry to go for labs. But to go for your labs, that's what I would advise you to do. It helped me to start getting, because you write, if you don't go, your attendance may not matter. All those things, they may not even really add it to your score. But at least you're used to the lab equipment, you are used to questions, you are getting used to how to titrate and all of that, all those things. Physics, you know, labs just help. At least it's like you're practicing, you keep practicing from there. So when you get to the exam, the final exam, it will not just be the first time you're seeing it. Tutorials will help you go over some lab questions and how to go about it, but it can't be compared to the hands-on, like you're doing it literally in the same exam where you're going to do, because it's the same lab that you use to do the exam eventually. So you can as well just go there and practice. So go for your lab, science students. Distractions, if you're a girl, boys will disturb you. You have to put that one in your skull. So you have to be very wise. Just have to tell yourself to be serious about it. Sometimes the hostel you are in may distract. Some people were not in hostel, they were doing okay. When they entered hostel, all these hostels in Aboloja, you know, it's popping in Unilag hostel, they got distracted because there'll be parties in the hostel. Different things. My hostel was a Catholic hostel. My father put me there. And I didn't like the fact that you can't have visitors. 10 o'clock, they'll close gates, all this type of thing. But eventually it helped me because I genuinely did not even have any distraction anymore. My hostel was the worst place to get. Who wants to distract in the hostel? You could not even go out and see you want to come back by what time. 10 o'clock, gate is locked. So you are inside. So basically, those things, I didn't like them, the fact that I had to be restricted. I may not have necessarily wanted to go anywhere, but you didn't have to restrict me like that. I'm not a child. But my dear, those distractions will prevent you from getting what you want to get. Get friends that are serious. I had very serious friends, and that helped me. Try and stay low-key. You don't have to be the one that's going attending all the events. Try and stay low-key so that you don't get distracted, because you're entering university. University is very much secondary school. You have all the freedom in the world. You can go wherever you want to go. Nobody's looking at you. You can easily get distracted. So you need to be very careful of friends that walk up and down. As a boy that doesn't like to walk up and down, you need to be careful of those people. Look for serious-minded people and make your friends till you get your admission. When you get your admission, you cannot start. But once you've not gotten admission yet, you have to be overnight. Overnight. I did overnight too. I used to wake up and trek all the way to Unilag, and then take a cab from Unilag Gate to Science and do overnight. So just make sure if you want to do overnight, you go with a friend that is serious. Not that people go there and start gisting or something. You go there and I used to do overnight, especially when I want to cover large volumes of work. I'll go and do overnight because I know that I'll read for how many hours non-stop without any distractions. Try and be safe. So just stay within where everybody is, sit down there and read. There are usually mosquitoes. So you may have to take socks or a wrapper. So don't go there and start sleeping. Make sure you sleep before you go. It doesn't make any sense for you to go all the way to school to read and then you are sleeping there. So try to sleep before you go. Don't eat too much so that you don't feel too tired. And then use overnight to cover up stuff. The only thing is that the next morning, you may not be able to attend your classes because you may be actually tired. So you have to be very, very wise. You have to select properly what days you want to do the overnight. And materials for physics, there's some materials that you must buy. Like physics now, Adewale's physics textbook. That's what we used that time, volume 1 and volume 2. I finished the volume 1, all the questions there. So people tell you that I finished it twice. The volume 2 was big, I don't finish everything. The tutorials helped me with my physics, but those questions, find out the materials people are using. Like I said, ask a senior, someone has done it before, maybe a year before you, or people that know what's up. Ask them and find out the materials that you need. For other courses like biology, I didn't really use any textbooks. My tutorials and my class notes were good for me. Class materials, class notes, and ones I took in class were okay for me. But just ask around in case there is any textbook that you need. But I didn't really use any textbook for chemistry and biology, just for physics I did. Read past questions, even for art students. I thought it was only for science students, but my friends also told me that for art students too, you need to read your past questions. Read it very well. They used to repeat past questions. For my Jupeb, they even repeated past questions. So read past questions and read your books. Make sure you read. We had first in course, first semester exam. Second in course, mock the exam. So before first in course, everything that they've taught me, between the beginning of this time first course, I try to finish everything for first in course. Because you may not have the time to come back and read it properly. When next I come back to read, it's to revise. And that's during your main exam. So first in course, I read everything I needed to read. I tried to finish as much material as I could before I wrote first in course exam. First semester exam, I finished all the materials. Every single material I needed to read, I read everything at least twice during my first semester exam. And that was how I got 15 points. That was my first 15 points, 3 A's. It was first semester exam I did that. So before every exam, try and read everything. Know it, because you're coming back to revise. You want to make sure you've read at least, so that revision will just be revision, not that you start again. Because during my second semester time, I started getting distracted. I was tired, I beg, and I started fumbling. But when it became time for my exam, my first semester things, I revised them under very few minutes. Like I didn't even use how many days to revise those ones, and then I focused on the ones that I wasn't really serious for. You are ready for the main exam. All those courses may not count, but they help you prepare. And then the timing in your in-courses is usually like 2 hours. During my time, it was just 2 hours per exam. But during Jupeb, you have like 3 hours. So those in-courses are supposed to prepare you. So you to prepare yourself, finish all your materials before the in-course. So that when you are ready for Jupeb, you'll be reading fresh materials all over again. Then the last thing I'll talk about is the Jupeb exam finally. Past questions. Do not forget past questions. Read your past questions. My chemistry past question came out in number 1. I didn't read it. I was crying that day. That will lead me to the second point. Your practicals. Take your practicals. If you're a science student, take your practicals. You're prepare for your practicals like it's the main exam. Prepare for your practicals like it's the main exam. Because your practicals are like how many percent? They will boost your mark up. Because past question came out during my time and I did not really understand what was happening. I didn't read the practical, so I didn't really know it. But I just got to read for my practical like it was no man's business. And I'd been going for, I didn't miss any practical day throughout my diploma. I'd been going, so I knew how to do it. So I just revised very well. And I got an A in my chemistry. So take your practicals very seriously. Read for it like it's the main exam. Then write. In my biology, I don't even know what they asked me. Out of all the zoology and botany I read, they started asking me if reproductive system. Things I read didn't even come out. But I had an idea and I wrote. So just keep writing. Jupeb is not the time that you give up and say, oh, if I perish, I perish. Anything that is in your head, empty it on that paper. This is your one shot to get admission that year. Empty it on the paper. Write as much as you can. Write and think. My head, I brought everything down on that paper. And during the practicals too. The practicals Jupeb is all these crocodile, reptiles, reptilia, all those things. Study them. Your manual. Study your manual for the practical. There are things you have to do. Anything you're meant to do. See, practical, don't joke with it. My practical don't help me in biology, because that biology, I didn't really understand what they were asking me. I didn't really know the theory so well. But you see my practicals, I didn't joke with them. All those is what class, what family is this, what class is this, you get. I think past questions also came out in my biology practical too. So read your practical very well, read past questions and write as much as you can write. So these tips are basically the tips I would leave you with for diploma. And as I always say, if you've done diploma before and you're watching this video and you have any extra tips you want to add for my viewers, you can just put that in the comment section. Also, if you have any other questions, you can just ask. I always reply your comments. I'll reply every single comment that you have. So I hope you have a fantastic diploma journey and I hope you pass when you're done. Also remember that you need to pray. Me, I was very spiritual during my diploma time. I used to pray a lot too, because I just always believe that things were not just by my own power. Everything was always by God's grace. So I used to pray as much as I used to work hard. So you work like you don't pray and pray like you don't work. I finished diploma with 3 A's. That's 16 points, because when you add, each A is 5 points, but once you get any credits, anything from 10 and above, they add an extra 1, and that was 16 points. So I had 3 A's, that was 16 points, and that gave me admission to study medicine. Straight admission. I didn't have to stress anything again. Pray God helps you. So please, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share. Thank you guys for watching so much. Until next time, bye.